Public Library Authority to order at 3:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Roger Dickinson. Karina Talamantes. Here. Phil Bleckybaum. Katie Maple.
Here.
Mai Vang. Phil Cerna. Patrick Kennedy. Rich Desmond. Rosario Rodriguez. Pat Hume. Mary Jane Lopez Taft.
Here.
Rod Brewer. Kevin Spees.
Present.
Tim Reed.
Here.
Linda Budge.
Here.
Noel Mora.
Here.
Bina Lefkowitz.
Here.
Nick Blois. And we have 8 members for a quorum.
Thank you very much. And I do note that we have 2 members online today, so we'll be doing roll call votes for our action items. Madam Clerk, would you mind reading the meeting statement?
This meeting of the Sacramento Public Library Authority is broadcast live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. It is also live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Saturday, February 28 at 4 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/metrocable14. The meeting will also be recorded via Zoom. A DVD copy will be available upon request no later than 2 weeks following today's meeting. The full agenda, including reports, is available at the library's website, www.saclibrary.org. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should complete a speaker identification form located at the back table and give it to the clerk. Members attending via Zoom should raise their hand in the Zoom program. Please speak clearly when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard.
All right. Thank you very much. And with that, please stand if you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, and I welcome everyone to this exciting meeting of the Sacramento Public Library Authority. Thrilled to have this be my first meeting as chair. We'll move on to public comment for matters not on the agenda. I do note that we have one speaker, Mr. Charlie Solt. Please come to the podium. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. I'm Charlie Solt. Thank you all for your service. There's a picture in front of you and that I brought copies. That's it. So welcome to Fair Oaks Library. If you don't have to show that photo if you want to block out the offensive word to show it, that's fine. So I'm a regular visitor to the library, and several weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, visit the library, see that vehicle in the parking lot right as you drive. You can't miss it, and it bothered me, but I didn't do anything. And after several other visits, started to get to me, and so I went in and asked the librarian, "Hey, who owns that vehicle? Is that somebody that works at the library?" And the librarian said, I don't have any information on that. So I said, okay, is there somewhere I might be able to complain? So she gave me a card, a little business card, and it has a complaint number that you can call the library. So I called that number, and I got a call back from a gentleman named David, and he said, I explained the situation of that vehicle, and all the children going by and the offensive language. I mean, they have a lot of activities at that library. And he said, well, there's nothing we can do about that. It's, that person's right to protest however they're going to protest. And I said, well, could maybe somebody approach them or something from the county or the library and ask about, if they could maybe modify their language or something. He said, no, we can't do anything. By the way, it's not even our property. The parking lot is on the park's property. So, and I kind of felt brushed off by that. And so I decided, well, let me figure out whose car it is, right? So it seemed to me pretty clear. It's probably an employee because it was there all the time. But there's businesses on the other side of the parking lot. Could have been that. So I went there this morning, actually, got there before opening, and I saw the car drive up. and out walked a librarian, and it's a librarian that works in a library. And so I approached her and I said, hey, I sympathize with your issue because, I do. But, with all the people and travel and seeing that, is there any way you might be able to modify your message? Maybe instead of saying that F word, maybe say, watch out for, or look out for, or oppose, or fight, or something that, children and young folk, aren't going to see in a library parking lot. And she said politely, well, I thought about that, but no, I'm not going to do that. And so then I asked her again, so you were not willing to modify that at all? And she said, no, I'm not. So I decided to come here and make an issue of it because I don't know the law. I'm not an attorney. But, it's just, for a librarian, I pulled out your code of conduct. It was right first page on your website, and it talks about what people that come to the library have to do. They can't use offensive language and so forth. And, to me, that's offensive language. Ironically, literally can't happen. You can't do that. You could fight, you could oppose, you could, whatever. You can't do that. But it fell on deaf ears. And so, before I go to, standing out there with the people with the church racks, and getting petitions and making a big mess, I was going to bring it to your attention because, she's not going to do anything about it. And that's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And I'll just follow up. I'll call the library. Hopefully I get an answer so I don't have to proceed.
Thank you. And we'll have our staff follow up with you. Thank you.
Chair Maple, we have another public speaker online.
Okay. Welcome.
I believe that may be me. Good afternoon. My name is Terrence Gladney, and I am the director of the Terrell Christopher Gladney Memorial Academy, also known as TCG Academy. 3 years ago, we started sponsoring the Sacramento region for the Scripps National Spelling Bee. Sacramento Public Library used to be a sponsor, followed by, I think they were preceded by the Sacramento Bee. And what our sponsorship does as a regional partner is we allow a direct pathway for spellers from our 15 county regions surrounding Sacramento to have a direct pathway to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. The first year we undertook it, we had a single speller. Last year we did 2 spellers. This year we added a 3rd speller, specifically from Sacramento City Unified School District. And really just an opportunity for all of our scholars in our region to have a direct path and not have to be commingled with spellers from a greater area that includes spellers from 4 states. We are very open and eagerly looking for partnership, not only from your organization and your individual members, but also more community partners from our region. For a very small nonprofit organization like ours, it's a big undertaking, but we know this is well worth the investment. But it really should be something that really is just uplifted by our community. So what I can do is I can email each of you individual committee members with additional information about the program. We've been intentional about uplifting our underserved neighborhoods. So the first year we did it at Kennedy High School because of our connections there. But last year we were intentional about uplifting the Oak Park community and held it at the Oak Park Community Center. For our District B for Sacramento City Unified, this year we're returning to Oak Park and we're hosting it at the brand new Oak Ridge Elementary School. And for our regional program, we're going to Del Paso Heights and we'll be at the Sacramento Youth Center, which is on March 14th. The Sacramento City B will be on March 21st, which is the following Saturday. We try to maintain a youth-centered space, and many young people that I've mentored and served in the history of our organization from 2009 to now are still connected to our space. So I will, again, follow up with information, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. And yes, please do. As the representative of Oak Park, I would be happy to help support and would love to learn more.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, any more public comments? No. Okay. So then we'll move on to our first presentation. Item 3.1, we have Friends of the Sacramento Public Library. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devon Graves. I currently serve as the Vice President for the Friends of the Sacramento Public Library, the official community partner of the library advocating across our region for our library. I'm joined by my amazing colleagues, our President, Rachel Caldor, and our amazing booked-in Director, Pam Whiteley, and probably some other folks on Zoom who are listening in. We want to thank you all for all your service and the work that you do here. We first want to thank the service of outgoing or immediate past chair, board member Brewer, who has just been a great advocate for the Friends, and we welcome and are excited for the new leadership of Chair Maple, and we're looking forward to that partnership as we continue into this year. We met February 1st and had our All Friends meeting where folks from across the region came together representing the affiliates to engage in some broader discussions about the organization. We took action on making updates to our Constitution. We heard an update from library staff regarding the state of the library and also the updating on the branding work. And we also just had some heartfelt discussions about our organization. So we are continuing to be committed to the work out of the booked-in, continue to be committed to the work out of our affiliates. I'll share this morning, I was at the Galt Library where the Galt Friends were meeting this morning, and they are pumped up for a book sale that's coming next month. They're doing a candy sale. So they're thinking about joining the local chamber there. So we have folks that are that's just one example of the many folks across this region who are doing some great work on behalf of the Friends. We have a meeting on March 10th that is coming up. It will be our regular board meeting. It'll be at 7 p.m. on Zoom, so we recommend you checking that out or sharing that with folks. We also do want to speak on the one action item that you have later today, that is the MOU between the Friends of the Sacramento Public Library and the Sacramento Public Library to codify the new brand. I can say on behalf of our organization, we are thrilled at this. We are beyond grateful to the director and to the comms team at the library for one, taking this on, but also inviting us to be a part of that journey. And we have folks that are super, and I can't emphasize this enough, super excited for this new brand. So we have folks that are really waiting on that approval, and they're ready to hit the update on their logo. So please don't rush through the meeting, but as quick as you can get through and pass that, approve it, and sign it, we are going to be updating our brand right away. So thank you so much for all your work. Thank you for the opportunity to report on behalf of the Friends, and I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. I see that we have Director Dickinson.
Thanks. I just wanted to verify the next meeting of the Friends. You said it's March 10th at 7 p.m.?
Correct.
And is that virtual or in person or hybrid?
It's virtual, so it'll be on Zoom.
Okay. Maybe you said that and I just missed it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other directors wishing to speak? Do we have any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. I just want to say that it was great speaking with you the other night. Was that last night?
Last night.
Oh, time. Time is a construct. Last night, we saw each other at an event, and I'm very much looking forward to coming and doing a tour of the book den. So I'll be reaching out to schedule that, and if anybody wants to come with me, we can make it a fun party. And then I will try my best to come to the next meeting as well, just to make sure I introduce myself and you all know who I am, and I can hear more about you and how we can partner together. So really looking forward to that.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, and then I would like to invite up Karen Leland to the State of Safety and Security at the Sacramento Public Library. Or the whole team. Welcome.
It's the whole team. Sure. Let's take us a moment to get the presentation queued up.
Okay, who can sing?
Where's Peter at?
I'm going to need some help.
Maybe Karen would be a good time to introduce your team.
Oh, I'll do that. So Jared, well, thank you, and good afternoon, directors. I'd like to start by introducing my team. Tanisha Mehdi, she is our library security officer. She's been with us for 5 years at the library, but brings 18 years experience in security operations. And she combines strong operational expertise with her ability to connect with our patrons and the community. So she's a wonderful asset to our operation. And then David Holmes, he joined us recently in November. David Holmes brings 10 years of solid security experience, and his position is allowing us to cover provide security coverage during public open hours. So Tuesday through Saturday, and so during all of the open hours. And so we are being able to support staff and patrons throughout the day in our security efforts. Together, our team works behind the scenes to support staff, partner with our contracted officers, and provide guidance and response with difficult issues when they arise.
And before Karen jumps into her presentation, I would like to introduce Karen Leland. She's the Safety and Security Manager here at Sacramento Public Library. And every 2 years, we bring forward a state of safety and security updates. This is an important opportunity to step back, look at the data in context, and assess how our system is performing operationally. I'm proud to say that the presentation that you will see today reflects meaningful progress since we last reported in 2024. That improvement doesn't happen by accidents. It's a result of intentional strategy, consistent monitoring, strong coordination, and Karen and team's steady leadership. Karen's been with the library for over a decade and brings both institutional knowledge and operational discipline to this work. Having a dedicated safety and security department is not common in public libraries. I cannot stress how unique it is for us to have this resource. And it underscores how seriously we take this responsibility to staff and the public. And with that, Karen, the stage is yours.
And away I go. Okay, so as he mentioned, I'll be providing an overview of our security trends from fiscal year 2024 through our projected fiscal year 2026. This information was in your board packet, information item 5.6. And so our goal today is to provide a clear system-wide picture that supports strategic planning and also confirms that our deployment decisions remain data-driven. We'll be looking at overall incident volume, comparing trends between the city and the county libraries, and looking at behavioral patterns and escalation indicators. And for this overview, city facilities refers to those branches located within the Sacramento city limits. And when we refer to county facilities, we will be including libraries in unincorporated areas of Sacramento County, but also the incorporated cities of Citrus Heights, Elk Grove, Ileton, Galt, and Rancho Cordova. And so overall, we believe that our system has remained stable during this period with consistent and predictable activity patterns. So 2 years ago, we reported a sharp increase in safety and security incidents. Between the fiscal year 2019 and fiscal year 2024 reporting period, total incidents were up 68%. Serious behavioral problems rose 63%, and city incidents rose sharply, with most growth concentrated in high-demand branches like Central Library. In response, we strengthened visible security presence, structured our deployments, built collaborative partnerships, and provided ongoing staff training to manage incidents effectively. Looking at fiscal year 2026, that rapid growth appears to have stabilized. Incident patterns appear predictable. County activity is leveling off as far as we can tell, and there's no evidence of uncontrolled escalation. In short, after significant growth, we're now seeing a period of relative stability across the system. So operational context matters. As we review data, trend interpretation should be viewed in the context of operational changes across the system. In 2024, we transitioned to a new security vendor, Blue Knight Security and Patrol. The lead account manager is a former canine police officer who brings a wealth of information operationally, risk assessment expertise, and strong incident management oversight. We implemented after-hours security at targeted locations where encampments and other after-hour activity directly impacted branch operations throughout the day. We installed the security gates at Sylvan Oaks Library, which had been experiencing exceptionally high after-hour activity. In 2025, as you are all aware, we had several branch closures. We had Colonial Heights closed, Martin Luther King Jr. Library was closed, Del Paso Heights for parking lot enhancements, and the old Sacramento News and Review building, home of the future North Sacramento Hagenwood Library, is closed. We also, hold on one second, sorry.
You're okay.
Okay. We added our internal library security officer position, allowing us to provide coverage during the public hours and support staff training and incident management. And we implemented a security-first approach, prioritizing de-escalation. So these operational changes influenced incidents and give context for understanding the data. So looking at total unique incident responses, we see an increase year over year the past few years. Since our last report out 2 years ago, activity has grown more modestly from 1,469 incidents to 1,516, with a projected total of 1,642 for fiscal year 2026. This represents to us manageable, predictable growth, and our experience shows that the system is operating under control. The main point is that after a period of rapid growth, incident activity has stabilized at levels we can effectively manage across the system. Some incidents are expected in a library system of this size, but overall the environment appears stable and predictable. City branches continue to account for the majority of system-wide incidents and largely shape overall totals. County locations experienced some increases in fiscal year 2025. However, those numbers are now stabilizing. Importantly, no single county branch is showing disproportionate growth. While city branches tend to drive total system numbers, county operations are demonstrating stability following targeted interventions that we believe suggest the interventions are working as intended. Incidents appear concentrated in a limited number of branches rather than evenly across the system. Central Library has consistently shown the highest activity, followed by other high-demand city locations. To address these situations, we've added security staff and expanded coverage during public hours and also after-hour shifts within city branches. This pattern supports a targeted deployment strategy, making a focused security presence the most efficient and effective approach. Looking at dominant behavioral categories, we see that incidents continue to cluster in 3 main areas. First, verbal aggression. This includes abusive language such as profanity, slurs, hostile gestures, as well as threats or intimidation that create a reasonable fear of harm. Second, we have non-compliance issues. This covers refusal to comply with staff or security requests, trespassing, or misuse of library facilities. And when we speak of misuse of library facilities, it's mostly our library restrooms. Refusal to comply is almost always followed with abusive language or threats. We do see that pattern as well. Third, property-related incidents, which involve theft or damage to library property. Most theft is opportunistic theft, meaning people leave their belongings left in the library or their bikes unlocked or, to some degree, that's it. However, in the last couple of months, we've also had multiple burglaries at the Valley High Library and also Del Paso Heights Library. So we did have somebody break into the Valley High Library and targeted our Library of Things items. And also Del Paso targeted a number of our computers. These 3 categories account for the majority of incidents we track, and understanding them helps guide where we focus our security and staff support. Behavior totals remain elevated and are projected to increase. However, this reflects consistent enforcement and documentation of repeat behaviors. Our workload continues to be behavior management driven. Staff and security are primarily managing rule enforcement, boundary setting, and verbal aggression, not widespread violent crime. This behavioral profile has remained consistent since 2024. We do continue to monitor escalation-linked behaviors closely, and while serious incidents occur, they appear proportionate within a large open-access public library system. Intimidation rose in 2025, fiscal 2025, and moderated in fiscal year 2026. Incidents of non-injury violence, aggressive behavior that did not cause physical harm continued to occur at a steady rate. Assaults incidents have declined but remain present. And assaults include physical assault, spitting, use of pepper spray, credible threats, and other physical aggression. These events represent direct or threatened harm to staff, security, or patrons, and highlight the importance of immediate response and risk mitigation. Weapon incidents, overall, the volume is low, but one weapon incident is too many. They carry significant risk. These include possession, weapon possession, or discovery of weapons on library property, as well as threats of use of weapons. Most reports involve knives, with fewer involving firearms, machetes, or chemical sprays. Fiscal year 2026 data shows a significant reduction, though targeted prevention and planning remain critical. So escalation risk exists, but it is being actively monitored and contained. Targeted interventions and prevention strategies appear to be effective in maintaining safety. So bringing this all together, the system appears to us to be operationally stable. Incident activity appears predictable and concentrated. We're not seeing evidence of uncontrolled growth. Our security framework remains aligned with our observed conditions, and we maintain a data-informed deployment model partnering with Blue Knight Security and Patrol. We do prioritize visible presence at high-impact locations. The rapid growth period that we saw in 2024 in that report out has transitioned into stable operational management. While incidents cannot be protected with certainty, our continuous monitoring and targeted security deployment appear to have stabilized the system for now. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. I thank you for that presentation. It was very interesting. I want to say thank you to you and your team for all the work that you do, keeping our patrons safe, keeping our staff safe, and the community. Thank you. See ya, Director Dickinson.
Thanks, Chair. Do we have numbers?
In the report, we did have numbers in the informational item, 5.6.
Okay. Somehow that escaped what I got printed out, so I'll go back and check on that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I should have clarified when I called this. This was an item that was listed under informational, but then we wanted to do a presentation of it, so that wasn't clear.
That's fine. I didn't see the material with the numbers for some reason, so I guess it didn't get printed for me, but that's at my end. It sounds. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Sounds like that was probably at my end, not your end. So, and so I'm just curious, and at a little bit of a disadvantage because I didn't have a chance to look at the number. And you identified both El Paso Heights and North Sacramento Hagenwood as libraries in your constellation of concerns. And what do you see as a trend line, if you do, at those two branches?
Well, I can't speak of the numbers specifically right now, but what I could tell you with North Sacramento, it's the incident severity. So we were seeing a pattern of incident severity for that small branch. And so we did deploy additional security out at that branch to try to bring that temperature down out there. And so we are seeing success in doing so.
And that branch is primarily verbal?
Verbal threats, abusive language.
Yeah.
We did have some high-level threats toward staff, and so yes,
And so
across the board. Physical altercations between patrons, and we believe that could be due to how small it is and how close people are together in the location.
And I'm just
May contribute.
Curious further, do you track how many of the interactions or occasions you end up actually calling the police, either 911 or non-emergency?
We don't, but that certainly is something that we can do in the future. We do call the police out to North Sac quite often, and we did install panic buttons out there for that purpose as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're trying to coordinate with the police department in North Sacramento, and we had a meeting for that purpose. I don't know if there's been follow-on from that or not, but I am curious about what kind of incidents we're seeing that are triggering calls and the response, whether that is working effectively or adequately, especially for those branches. So.
Well,
if we can dig into that a little bit,
I can provide that information to you, but I could speak to that we have pushed panic buttons a number of times at North Sac since your meeting, and the police have responded.
Okay, that's
so
good.
We're happy to report that.
All right,
Yes.
That is good to hear, and that's something that I would be very interested in as on an ongoing basis. If in some way you think the response is not what you would like it to be or hope it to be, then we could get together and talk about that and make sure we've got the police department looped in so that we're as effective in responding as possible.
And we appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And I see Director Reed.
Thank you. Got to turn the microphone on. Hi, Tim Reed from Galt. We love our library in Galt, by the way. I have a long history in public safety. And so when I see any types of numbers going up, it concerns me. If at any of my other public safety agencies had an increase like this year over year, it would concern me. So my question is, at what point or what percentage increase or what type or number of increase would we start being concerned about these types of incidents? Because you're telling me, we've had an 11% increase in the total incidents, and then I looked at the behavioral, and it's a 20% increase over the last 2 years, but you're saying that it's not that concerning. So my question is, at what point should we start being concerned?
Well, we are concerned, but we see that it is stabilizing and that we are being able to manage it through all of our efforts with security and additional security hours and having a stationed officer out at a site. So we're always continuously looking at the data. We're looking at the types of incidents that we're having. We see that the numbers are going lower for the escalated behaviors, and so that's promising. Everything could change tomorrow, but we are continuously looking at the data, but we, right now, it feels stable. And, we have our security first approach. We have a lot of support from our new security company. And so our experience is showing that it's stabilizing. High numbers, but stabilizing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. See, Director Lopez-Taff.
Thank you so much, Chair Maple. My question or concern is along the same lines as Director Reed. And, you know, when I see projected numbers of that are rising for security concerns, I need to ask, what are some other factors besides the physical security officers or security systems or what have you are we employing? Because I would rather see a projection that we're going to mitigate substantially these incidences that we're trending down as far as what we hope to do in our efforts.
And so the question is, what else are we doing to support security within the system?
Yes.
So we're doing additional training with our staff. We are also installing panic buttons. We are collaborating on security task force meetings through PBID operations and organizations. We participate downtown in the downtown task force. And so we are, you know, continuing to monitor the data and provide support, you know, as needed. And Jared, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, and you know, in addition to what Karen talked about too, at the same time too, we're working with the jurisdictions as well to address these issues because, you know, this is symptomatic of all of Sacramento County, right? And incidents that we're seeing. If you talk to retail, if you talk to other libraries across the river, for example, we had a meeting with the Yolo County, West Sacramento, and they're also seeing marked increases as we are. So this is a much larger issue. We're trying to partner with anyone and everyone we can, but I want to say we're all in this together and we all need to work towards, you know, towards this bigger problem.
I have one additional question. So do we have a strategic plan that we're working toward these strategies so they can be memorialized, so they can be evaluated for effectiveness, things of that nature? Because I just cannot see a statistic trending upward and then we don't have a benchmark to say, okay, we get this report every 2 years, it is what it is. I rather have benchmarking based on a strategic plan goal that we can say, okay, your efforts are reducing, your efforts are keeping things the same, or is there no such memorialization of efforts?
Well, as part of a strategic plan, it's about, you know, safe environments, safe communities. So we are working to try to achieve that through our different rules of conduct with our efforts towards diversity and inclusion, right? Doing a better job of understanding why some of these incidents occur or how we can better approach a patron who might be doing something so that it doesn't set off into other behaviors. So we are working in concert with the strategic plan on this.
And Director Lopez-Taft, if I might, and we're happy to maybe discuss some metrics that we can share with the board at a future date. We don't have those in the strategic plan, but happy as a management team to put that together for you.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay. Director Brewer.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank you for the report. I find it very interesting of the data that you shared, because looking at the various chapters throughout the region, it feels like that it is on a little bit of an uptick. But what sort of partnerships, successful partnerships, that the library is doing with Sacramento County through the Sheriff's Department and through the respective police departments to help try and mitigate against some of the escalating activity that we're seeing at the libraries now?
So we do participate in the business improvement district organizations where they are located or when they are in our area. And so we do participate in those meetings. We have access to the DA when they are at the meeting, and also law enforcement. So we are trying to partner with our law enforcement closely to provide guidance to us as well.
And in the effort to do that, are we seeing Are we seeing more isolated incidents just only within the central library or and the north, or are we seeing something pretty much more balanced throughout the region? Because like north of Elk Grove, we have the Valley High North Laguna Library. We have the Franklin Library over on the west end in the East Franklin neighborhood of Elk Grove, and then you have the Elk Grove Library. And then Bell Coolidge just a little further to the north. So just trying to get a feel for where are we seeing the hot spots?
Well, Central Library for sure, year over year, is a hot spot. We know this. But I think if you look at the surrounding area, Valley High, often there's encampments that start to grow around the Valley High Library. And then so there is a correlation for us when that starts to happen, that we start to see after-hour incidents and also incidents during the day as well. And so we have been using, currently we have an after-hour security officer stationed there due to the burglary, and we're shoring up our operation so that we can remove that position, but we've continued to have intermittent security after hours for Valley because of those issues. And so we do see that when we have after-hour security presence, it resolves some of the issues that we have during the day. So Valley High Central Library is just a hot spot. I think we have, a lot of people moving in and out. At Central, we like to say people don't want to be told what to do. And so that just when you, use your best de-escalation skills and try to have people follow the code of conduct, sometimes they blow into something bigger. So when we look at the category totals, those are going to be bigger than the incident totals because one incident can have several categories of behavior associated with it. It could be abusive language, refusal to comply, threats, intimidation. It is in a way subjective for the person who is on the receiving end of that behavior, right? So I think if you look at Colonial Heights, that tends to be a hot spot. Right now, we just reopened out there, and everything is moving wonderfully for us. And so we could be in a honeymoon phase. We think things are looking really good out there. So I think if you look at the areas where our libraries are, you can see a correlation of some of the issues that we have.
Definitely, because because for the health of the community and for the health of the library itself, just trying to figure out how to gauge the weighted amount of how many security officers you need per site, because obviously for security, their duty is to observe and report, not to enforce. And so just making sure that we have the right number of security at each location, even after hours. That way, they can provide the right eyes and ears for police or in the sheriff's department, depending on where they're at, just to make sure that the deterrence is being enforced and being kept, just to make sure that the surrounding community is safe as well.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Okay. Thank you, Director Brewer. And I just have a quick follow-up question before we move on to Director Lefkowitz. So are the staff at the Sacramento-based library, so including downtown, the Central Library, Colonial Heights, Valley High, and others, are they trained, either the security or staff at the library, to use 311 by chance, the city?
Oh, yeah. So
okay. And specifically for encampments?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We do call. We've seen a better response than we have had in the past. But yes, but what we know is that if we don't have security on site, it starts to grow, and so
Yeah.
we do see that.
Of course, it's not a real-time thing, right?
It's not real
So
time. Yeah.
always
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
911 or police if there's
Right.
something happening in real time. But as it relates to 311, I heard you say call, but I would also highly recommend if you're not already using either the app or the online version, because like many agencies, we are understaffed in for our calls, and so it may be actually harder to get a hold of someone if you call. But the app, we actually have really quick response times with the app because they receive it, they put it into a heat map, they're able to go through the list, and then a lot of times people don't want to keep reporting because they're like, oh, I'm sure someone else has. It actually is really helpful because we use the number of reports that we get for certain encampments or issues to actually determine where we need to send out our resources. So if we're getting a lot of complaints about one area, we know, okay, we have to go there tomorrow, and so just to put something out there, you're not bugging us, and so it might actually be helpful if we have more people who
That's
are
a great idea.
reporting
Yes.
issues.
That's a great idea.
Thank you. And then with that, Director Lefkowitz.
Yeah, I might have a different lens on this. I'm happy you're training your staff in de-escalation techniques. I had thought I remember hearing that you had some social workers outstationed in some of maybe the downtown library, and if that's still the case, I'm curious if they have had any impact on helping people, because I wonder how much of this is some kind of mental health issue or people not knowing how to regulate themselves, and rather than a police person, maybe a human services person stepping in and helping. So I'm just curious about
We
that.
do have a social worker program, and that is run by our manager, Leanna Acevedo. And I think she has been here to the board before to talk about some of the accomplishments, and maybe Jared, we could have her back to talk more about that. But yes, we do have social workers downtown. They have been asked to step in and help us and assist us with certain situations, and so we can say that those have been successful. And so I hear what you're saying, perhaps a social worker versus a security officer, but that is something to think about for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe not versus, but maybe it would be a way to
In combination.
reduce some of the behaviors before you have to bring the officer in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Really good questions and comments. I super appreciate the presentation. It's great to be updated on what's going on, even if some of the numbers aren't maybe exactly what we want to see.
Yeah.
It's really important that we're transparent about it so that we know what actions we need to take, and also that we know that, and our employees know and our patrons know that we care about this and we're working on it every single day. So
Absolutely.
Thank you
so much.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to our wonderful executive director for his report.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair Maple. Good afternoon, board members. Thank you for letting me participate remotely today. I'm in Washington, D.C., where I just completed American Library Association National Legislative Day, and we were able to visit with both our senators from California, Senator Schiff and PD's staff, as well as Congress people Matsui and Barra. We had some great conversations about supporting the Library Services and Technology Act and the Institute for Museum and Library Services, which is the only federal funding local public libraries receive. We also talked with them about the E-rate program, which provides internet service to libraries at a significant discount. For the board's information, we receive about an 85% discount on our internet because of our participation in E-rate and the statewide CNIT program. So these are vital programs for America's libraries. We also talked about the recently released Government Accountability Report on the condition of public library buildings in America. And this study found that an estimated 70% of public libraries have a backlog of deferred maintenance and repair. And it also found that 71% of public libraries cite construction costs, labor, materials, and funding as key challenges to addressing those repairs, which I don't think is a surprise to any of us in local and state government. Things cost a lot of money, and there never is enough of it. But that is why we're very grateful for the the state library is building forward an infrastructure grant program, which has allowed our member jurisdictions to receive the funding to complete the projects we're currently undertaking. And we really appreciate the collaboration with them during this process. And as you know, construction dates and information changes. So we hope that the information in the packet is as up to date as it can be, but things may change and we'll update the members of the board accordingly. And on that vein, we are working towards securing a ribbon cutting date for the Colonial Heights meeting room. There's some outstanding work that is still waiting to be completed, and we hope to have that finished and have a date soon, working with Councilmember Chair Maple and Councilmember Guerra's offices to secure a date for that. So we hope to have that announced in the next couple days and have something happen soon. Saturdays in March are very busy, so we're grateful that they're finding time to do that. And also, the Martin Luther King Library and Elk Grove Libraries are on track for summer 2026 openings, which we have in the packet there. And then the North Sacramento Hagenwood Rotary, the North Sacramento Hagenwood Library is also on schedule. And we recently, this last weekend, I attended the Rotary Club of North Sacramento's Centennial Gala. Their Centennial Project is sponsoring our Library of Things at that location. And so we're looking forward to having that as a key feature when we open that building. It's going to be a very great thing for our community. There are a couple items in the written report from the executive team I'll just highlight. And the first item is the harm reduction partnership with the harm reduction services. And this is a great example of how we're trying to partner with communities, organizations as part of our strategic plan to bring the services that our community needs to the library and help promote them. So this service is new, and we're looking forward to having great success with this partnership and seeing how we can continue to grow that new partnership. And we're also happy to talk about our volunteer meetup and recruitment that happened at the Valley High North Laguna Library. Over 70 people attended, and they talked about their volunteer experiences and learned more about what they can do with the library. And I think it was a success. We had over 20 new volunteers sign up for our adult literacy program to help volunteer, which was a great thing. And then finally, I'd just like to highlight our Library After Hours teen takeover. We had over 100 teens in our library galleria on the 26th. They had a great evening of socializing, having activities, and doing some artwork. So we're really happy that we were able to provide a place for the teens to do that. It's a popular program, and we're looking forward to having it again next year, I hope. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board might have from the written report and the things that I have spoken about and anything else the board desires.
Okay. Any questions for our executive director here? Director Mora.
Thank you. I have one. Thank you for your report. It's great to hear about the popular teen takeover of the library galleria that you mentioned. Just curious how maybe some of the schools within the library system can help promote that kind of event, if that's not happening already.
Director Mora, I can't speak directly to that, but I'm happy to follow up with you with our youth services team to get some more information on how that's happening, and if not, how we can foster that partnership.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, seeing no other directors queued up. Thank you very much for the report, as always, and please continue representing us well in DC, as you do. Okay, so we'll move on to items 5 is information, so trusting that everybody's read this, but if anyone has any questions for any of the informational items, seeing none, then we'll move on to our consent calendar. Do any directors have any questions or comments on any of the consent items?
I'll move consent calendar.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have any public comment on consent? No. Seeing none? Okay. And please call the roll.
Roger Dickinson.
Aye.
Karina Talamontes.
Aye.
Phil Pluckybaum. Katie Maple.
Aye.
Mai Bang. Phil Cerna, Patrick Kennedy, Rich Desmond, Rosario Rodriguez, Pat Hume, Mary Jane Lopez Taft.
Aye.
Rod Brewer,
Aye.
Kevin Spees,
Aye.
Tim Reed,
Aye.
Linda Budge,
Yes.
Tanya Kravchuk,
Aye.
Noel Mora,
Aye.
Bina Lefkowitz,
Yes.
Nick Blois.
Aye.
Motion passes with 12 members voting.
All right, thank you very much. And then we'll move on to our action items. Moving first to item 7.1, approval of an agreement with the Friends of the Sacramento Public Library regarding the use of intellectual property and revised fundraising partnership policy.
So moved with no rushing.
Okay,
I'll second.
is there a presentation on this item?
Chair Maple, no, there's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Okay, well, please call the roll. Oh, noting that we actually do, just kidding, we have one public commenter, Mr. Graves. Welcome up. Almost missed you.
Sorry, I'm the cause for the delay on the rush.
No,
but,
you're good.
Just want to emphasize again, we're very supportive of this. We want to thank the library team again for their patience and shepherding us through this process. Change is not easy, so this was not a rosy conversation as an organization, but a necessary conversation to update. I also want to thank Rachel for her leadership through this, Anita Scurry for her work on the MOU, General Counsel for your work in partnership with this, so we definitely urge your support of this MOU.
Wonderful. A true collaborative effort. So with that, you may now call the roll.
Roger Dickinson,
Aye.
Karina Talamontes, Phil Pluckybaum, Katie Maple,
Aye.
Mai Vang, Phil Cerna, Patrick Kennedy, Rich Desmond, Rosario Rodriguez, Pat Hume, Mary Jane Lopez Taft,
Aye.
Rod Brewer,
Aye.
Kevin Spees,
Aye.
Tim Reed,
Aye.
Linda Budge,
Yes.
Tanya Kravchuk,
Aye.
Noel Mora,
Aye.
Bina Lefkowitz,
An enthusiastic yes.
Nick Blois,
Aye.
and motion passes with 12 members voting.
Yay. Awesome. Okay. That brings us to item 7.2, approval of the fiscal year 2025-26 mid-year budget update and supplemental funding allocation. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair Maple and members of the board. On the agenda today is the mid-year budget update for fiscal year 25-26. So the mid-year budget allows us to true up numbers, budgeted numbers based on current information and updated data. So I have a quick PowerPoint here, and not too many changes, but feel free to ask any questions along the way. So the changes are minor. Revenue, we are anticipating a decrease of $226,000 combined, and expenditure increase of $204,000 for a total net increase in use of fund balance in the amount of $430,000. As shown on Exhibit A, the total revenues are projected to be at $63.1 million. And then on the same exhibit, expenditures at $70.1 million for a net use of $7 million in use of fund balance. Again, $6.6 million was adopted by the budget during the September final budget. So this mid-year budget has an increase of $430,000 in use of fund balance. And as noted in the past, most of this increase in use of fund balance, $2.5 million is for project carryovers and one-time project cost, including signage, system-wide signages, security camera systems, automated material handling systems, IT routers, and books and material collections. $2 million is due to the City of Sacramento General Fund and Measure U contribution diversion. So this is year one of 2 years in terms of a $2 million diversion per year. And that's mainly to cover the budget shortfall for the Martin Luther King project and the North Sacramento Library project. And then additionally, $1.7 million is for the supplemental fund reserve usage for 3 HVAC projects at the Carmichael Library, North Highland Antelope Library, and the Out Endemic Library. $500,000 is increase in security cost. As Karen mentioned earlier with her presentation, staff is working on mitigating and minimizing security incidents, but that requires additional cost and funding resources as well too. And then $300,000 for reopening day sparkle collections at the Elk Grove Library. Taking a look at the revenue in a bit more detail. So again, $63.1 million, $226,000 decrease from the September final budget. And then this is mainly due to the county property tax projection. When we projected the current year budget, the final numbers hasn't come in yet for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. So based on the 25 numbers, we are seeing a downtick in property tax revenues, although it's fairly stable. As you'll see later on, the projected increase for next year is still 3.25 basis point, but we projected a little bit high, so we want to get it back to what we think it'll be by the time we close the books in a few short months. And then gifts, grants, and donations from July through November, $274,000. So with the three major revenue sources, we anticipate $37.1 million for the county property tax revenues, City of Sacramento General Fund and Measure U contribution at $12.3 million. So that number is not changed from the September final budget. And Measure E, Postal Tax Measure E at $10.4 million. And as you recall, Measure E is a consolidation of the current Postal Tax X and Postal Tax B for the City of Sacramento. On the expenditure side, again, $70.1 million, $204,000 increase from the September final budget, and mainly due to the increase in security cost, the carryover on the book and materials budget, $200,000, and the matching side from the revenues of gifts, grants, and donations of $204,000, with also a net decrease in projected salaries and vacancy savings of $500,000, and also a decrease in services and supplies of $200,000. So we have some increases, and then also we're anticipating some decreases in expenditures as well too. And then as part of the mid-year budget, we also look at the County of Sacramento's annual supplemental funding allocation. As you recall, the board had adopted a 35% cash flow and economic uncertainty reserve for the county fund. The Finance Advisory Committee, the makeup is of the county CFO, city finance directors, and other partner finance directors from partner agencies as well too. So we met as a group on January 28th to look at the audited financial statements. And these are finance folks, so we focus mainly on the fund balances to take a look at the fund balances and determine the required reserves, system-wide improvements and equipment needs, and also the 5-year forecast. So during the meeting, there were lots of questions. The end result was a recommendation to allocate $117,000 in supplemental funding allocation for fiscal year 26. And so how do we get to the supplemental funding allocation amount? So table 1 on the staff report shows how the number is derived. So we start with the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025 fund balance. So when we close the books, we ended the year at $34.1 million. And then less the cash flow and economic uncertainty reserves of 35%, which is $13.2 million. Restricted reserves, that includes the current supplemental fund balances, deferred maintenance, bequests, donations, and so forth, about $6.3 million, $8.2 million to cover future structural deficit. That's based on our 5-year forecast. And system-wide security, IT, AMHS, furnitures, and fixtures of $6.2 million. So that gets us to $117,000 in allocable fund balance into the supplemental fund. Exhibit A, Table 2 shows how the supplemental fund is calculated, and that's mainly based on three factors: property taxes, circulation percentage, and service area population. So the sum of the three, the average gives you the annual supplemental funding factor. And then on applying that percentage to the 117,000 gives you the proportionate share of the allocation per each agency. And then the green column shows the supplemental funding allocation balances at June 30, 2025, which is last fiscal year. So we ended the year at 5.2 million combined. And then the beige column, fiscal year 26 usage, shows that we'll be using 27,500 for the IL-10 remediation project. And then on the county unincorporated areas, the county had requested to use about 1.7 million for 3 HVAC projects at the Carmichael, North Highland, and Alden Demick branch. And then lastly, the final column, this is the projected estimated supplemental fund balance at June 30, 2026. So in about 4 short months, we'll be closing the books again and prepping for the audit. So these are the balances that we anticipate for supplemental fund for a total of $3.6 million combined. Position control, no recommended changes at this time. So staff is recommending to keep it at 343.5 FTEs. And then looking ahead towards fiscal year 26-27 budget, so the county property taxes, although it's fairly stable, but we're seeing a downward trend. And so next year we're anticipating to project a 3.25 basis point for property tax revenues. And we do communicate with the county assessor to come up with these analysis. And we try to stay conservative on the revenue side, hoping that we are on target and hopefully not too low and not too high. And then on the city of Sacramento General Fund and Measure U, so as I mentioned, fiscal year 26 has a $2 million diversion, and fiscal year 27 there's another planned $2 million diversion for the Martin Luther King and the North Sacramento library projects. So a total of $4 million combined over the 2 years span. And then also the previously projected step-up increases have also been eliminated. Again, these are projected on the city's 5-year forecast years ago, and but the message we get from the city's finance director and budget team is nothing's ever guaranteed. So this is an example of it's in the budget, it's in the forecast, but it's not guaranteed. So the 7.7 million, that's a cumulative funding loss over a 5-year time span. So based on that, based on our forecast, the structural deficit is ranging from 2.3 to 3.9 million year over year. And fortunately, the libraries have been prudent with our spending resources. The supply chain shortages, project delays, that allowed us to accumulate some of the fund balances, which hopefully will help us weather the storm over the next 4 to 5 years. So last bullet point, in the long run, it's unsustainable to be dipping into fund balance on an annual basis. So hopefully we'll continue to have conversations with the city's finance director, the budget team to hopefully come up with a solution on the long-term fiscal planning. And then on the last slide, City of Sacramento Measure E is projected to be increased at 3%. This is capped at the 3% level based on the San Francisco CPI index. And then CalPERS contribution, we're anticipating an increase of 55 basis points for the employee contribution, so bring it to 21.4% for fiscal year 27. And staff anticipate on bringing the budget, fiscal year 26 27 budget to the authority board May 28th meeting. So that's a pretty quick summary. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right, thank you for the presentation. I see Director Dickinson.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Chair. I had just a couple things I wanted to ask about. Thank you for the presentation. You listed on the expenses for your mid-year, I don't recall your slide exactly, but it's like 200,000 for grants, et cetera. I think it was
Yeah, this
one more.
slide, oops,
What?
right there.
Yeah, okay. And so how are grants, gifts, and donations an expenditure?
So Director Dickinson, we receive, so we receive revenues. So when grants come in, gifts, donations, so forth, that is submitted to the board for approval. And so on the revenue side, it's 274,000. And the corresponding grants expenditure is 204,000.
So it's not incoming, it's a disbursement of the grants.
It's a matching, yeah, it's a matching revenue to expenditures.
Okay.
And then the number is slightly different because a portion of the revenue have been budgeted already and based on the September final budget. So that's why you have 274,000 in revenues and only 204,000 in expenditure.
Okay, so I see how you're tracking this now. Okay. The other question I had, you showed, I believe, 500,000 in salary savings.
Yes. So this slide right here I have up. So that's the salary savings due to vacancies.
And yeah, is that over the period of time from July 1st or whenever the budget was adopted, October 1st?
The budget was adopted in May of last year.
So it was a July 1st. I know there was a reference in here to October. So those are salary savings for 6 months, I mean, or so.
This is the total savings that we project through the end of June. So
for over 12 months.
12 months.
Over
Yes.
12 months.
Yes.
Okay, that's helpful also. But one of the things is I would just suggest, if you're not already planning to do it, is as you look at the 26-27 budget, that since there's a structural deficit, that you examine positions that have been vacant for an extended period of time, and that can be defined in lots of different ways, to determine whether those positions should be retained or not. Because I noticed your position control was the same number of positions. So I assume that was not just this year, but perhaps considering for next year as well. And so it just seems to me if you've got positions you've been carrying for a long time, and they're not filled, they need to be looked at, because we're looking to appropriate money for those, to carry those, and we could get certainly not everything we need in order to balance the budget or to address the structural deficit for 26-27, but we could get something out of that. So that's just something I encourage.
Yeah, that's a good approach. I mean, and position control is one of the many things that we look at as we start the next year's budget. So yeah, we'll certainly visit position control as well too.
Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other directors with comments or questions on the mid-year budget? Okay, seeing none. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Oh, I should be asking if any of other directors online, but I'm assuming you've also been looking at that. Okay, wonderful. All right, with that, does this needs a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Okay, please call the roll.
Roger Dickinson.
Aye.
Karina Talamontes.
Aye.
Phil Pluckybaum. Katie Maple.
Aye.
Mai Vang. Phil Cerna. Patrick Kennedy, Rich Desmond, Rosario Rodriguez, Pat Hume, Mary Jane Lopez Taff,
Aye.
Rod Brewer,
Aye.
Kevin Spees,
Aye.
Tim Reed,
Aye.
Linda Budge,
Yes.
Tanya Kravchuk,
Aye.
Noel Mora,
Aye.
Bina Lefkowitz,
Yes.
Nick Blois.
Aye.
Motion passes with 12 members voting.
Excellent. Great news on all fronts. Okay, now we move on to reports, ideas, questions from board members. Anything anyone wants to share? Is anyone online wanting to share? Okay, seeing none. With nothing else to come before this board, we are now adjourned at 4:17 p.m.
Yay.